Y'all ready? Time it. Let's go. Blazin takes. Yeah. I just gotta have my blazin' takes. I know what this is. Blazin takes. If you get offended, so great. Y'all here because y'all want the real. And you know I'm gonna get it. But enough with all that. Let's start the show, man. Yo, SimWorld, what's going on? What it is, what it do? Rick Blaze coming at you with the episode number 36 for Rick's Blazin Takes. Speaking of number 36, I got to give it up one time for one of my favorite basketball players who wore number 36, the one and only, the incomparable Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace was a hell of a player in his time with the Blazers and Detroit. Those are the two teams that come to mind. If he played for somebody else, I think he might have been drafted by Washington. I'm not 100% sure about that. I haven't looked it up. I'm just going off the top of my head. But Rasheed Wallace was that guy. I think he would kill in this modern day basketball because he was a stretch forward way before stretch forwards was a thing. His ability to shoot the outside jump shot and his ability to play hella defense with the intensity they play with as well. Number 36, Rasheed Wallace is my guy for my number of the day. All right, cool. Let's get right into it. We know what it is. I'm not going to hold you too long. The regional tournaments, the regional championships was on the line on yesterday. 4 games. We had a quadruple header, and it did not disappoint. All games were interesting. All games had their own storyline. All games carved out the who's who in SimWorld. So let's talk about it. First game, Detroit and Chicago. We're going to talk about close game to the wire. Back to back. Buckets for both teams. I saw LeGerald Carroll hit the jumper with a few seconds, under a minute left to give Chicago the lead. And then what do you know? They come out of the timeout. My man busts one for Detroit. Pagnotti. The Pagnotti posse went crazy. Bust one from the wing. Whop up. Took the lead, and they had 0.5 seconds left, and that's a very little time to get a shot off. The attempt did not go well, and Detroit escapes with a very close victory, with a very nice victory over Chicago. Stars of that game, you got to give it up for the resiliency. First of all, anytime I say LeGerald Carroll, when he scores 20 points or more, Chicago is pretty much undefeated. When LeGerald Carroll scores 20 points or more, Chicago is pretty much undefeated. Except this time. LeGerald Carroll put up 21 points and Chicago lost. What does that mean? That means Detroit took it to them. Shout out to Rising Little, who played really big. Rising Little's been playing really big for an awfully long time. I told you his comp for me, his player comp, is max ceiling player comp. It's like a Dwayne Wade type. He has a lot of games. Shout out to Phenom, who played solid. He scored points when they needed it most. He didn't go off. He didn't have a monster game. But when they need a clutch bucket, Phenom. And then speaking of clutch, Pagnotti, Bo knows. Bo knows how to get the dub. Bo got that dub. Shout out to Pagnotti, man, who had big webos going into the fourth quarter. Seconds left in the game. Big webbles. Hadn't really been shooting well the entire game. Big webbles. Put it up. 3. Busted. Big webbles. Bo knows. Bo and his posse should be still celebrating right now. You earned it. Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Detroit for the win. Chicago played a hell of a game. It was a hell of a game. Detroit pulled it out. Detroit basketball is back. They are the champs. You got to salute those guys. Next game, let's talk about it. Southeast Select versus Gulf Coast. Now, my prediction for the previous game, Chicago-Detroit, I picked Chicago. I lost that prediction. My bookie got me on that one. Second game, Southeast Select versus Gulf Coast. I picked Gulf Coast. I lost that one. Southeast Select beat the brakes off Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast was led by Diva Willie. He and I have been, had a few words back and forth throughout this year. Apparently, he needs to stop focusing on his shoes and fashion and focus on this game because D. Willie was MIA on yesterday. Shot a terrible percentage from the field. I mean, his shots His shot. See, he's one of those players that shoots a lot of wild shots. And as long as they're going in, or as long as he's balancing those out with easy buckets like layups and free throws and things like that, no one says anything. But on a night like this, when you're in the layup, you can't get to the basket, you can't get to the free throw line, and you're still shooting those wild shots, it looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. And tonight was one of those nights when those wild shots are not falling. You're like, oh my God, those are terrible shots. Yeah, but those are D. Willie shots. They've been terrible all year. He's just been making them a lot of the times. Or he's been balancing those terrible shots off with 6 layups in the game, 5 free throws in the game. So it all came to a head when it's tournament time, when it's championship time, and his defense are now turning it up a notch. Now they're geared towards stopping you. It all came to a head, and it was ugly. It was real ugly. Shout out to Southeast Select, who was stifling on defense. Southeast Select put up 90 points. Let me tell you something. Southeast Select is not a 90-point per game team. They are not. I'll say it again. They are not a 90-point per game team. But if they can hold you to 60, if you shoot a terrible percentage, they can run up the score. Trey Turner got hot. Trey Day got hot. And when Trey Day gets hot, Trey Day becomes en fuego. And when Trey Day is en fuego, you can't stop Trey Day. There are not enough fire extinguishers in the building to stop Trey Day when he gets hot. Tied the record for the most threes in the game, 7. Now, put a pin right there. The game was out of reach. Trey Day had 3. Trey Day had 3 or 6 threes when the game was out of reach. Coach put him back in to get number 7. If I am Gulf Coast, I'm taking note. I'm Gulf Coast, I'm taking note. We're not finna play that game. The game's out of reach. You put your man in the game so he can pad his stats. Okay, I got you. Shout out to Southeast Select with the win, man. Total domination on the defensive end. I lost that bet. I'm over 2. Now, I did win 2 of them. So let's talk about PNW and the team they played, which was PNW versus West Coast Select. Great game, double overtime. Can you believe that? Late night game on the West Coast. What late night game? If you snooze, you lose in this game. Double overtime, my man came through and shined. A lot of players came through and shined, but I want to talk about DJ Childs, the best point guard in SimWorld. I know you're going to argue, oh, this person, what about this person? I wish you had a chance to see him last night. Whoever you're talking about, I wish I could have seen him play so that you can remind me how good he is. But he didn't play. His team didn't make it. He went for the championship. DJ Childs and his teams was 22 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, giving it the business, playing hard. He's Dame Jr., man. He does a little bit of everything. You need scoring? I got you. You need assists? I got you. You need rebounds, defense? I got you. Plus, he has the sneaky athleticism. The sky's the limit. This P&W team became real dangerous. Last team, the first team that played the game I called, got to give it up. Haters gonna hate. Got to give it up. Mid-Atlantic versus New England Select. Coming to the game, everybody had their predictions. Nobody. I think maybe Yale's. Nobody else had Mid-Atlantic even sniffing the win column in this game. Nobody. Oh, Baldwin gonna score a gazillion points and, blah, 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 blah. And, Jameis Johnson don't have no heart and he don't win the big game. And, they say all these things. And what made Atlanta come out there and do? Smash on the gas, on they, the rest. What Baldwin do? Mid-Atlanta had a game plan, defensive game plan, and Baldwin was not ready for that. Shut him down. See, again, I said in a post yesterday, you guys chasing these new waterfalls, you better stick to those rivers and those lakes that you used to. I go with the guy who's been putting it down all year long, who's seen every defense, who's seen every team, who's played against every coach, who played against every player, and been putting it down all year long. I don't subscribe to people who get hot in the summer. People who get hot with a win streak, who get hot 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. No. We played 20-something games. Well, you were for 15 of them. What about those other 15? You see, I'm from Show Me, Texas. You got to show me. And show me for 5, 6 games, that ain't really showing me. That's showing up, but that ain't showing me. I'm going to go with the guys who've been showing me and showing the league all year long. Jameson Johnson. Then the pundit's going to say, oh, man, well, you know, he can't win the big game. So I can't, he can't be that guy. He can't win the big game. Check that. Next. Oh, man, he's 7 foot and he can't score against 7-footers. Well, how was Malcolm Oliver for him yesterday? Last time I checked, I think he's a 7-footer. How did he do? How was he? Malcolm Oliver. See, and Malcolm Oliver played defense, gave him trouble. Man, I don't care if you Malcolm Oliver. I don't care if you Malcolm Jamal Warner. I don't care if you Malcolm X. You ain't stopping Jameson Johnson one-on-one. Period. Stop it. Oh man, well, some players, they not 7 foot and he just scoring them because he's 7 foot. Outside of this argument. Penalizing a man because he's genetically 7 feet tall is a weak argument. I don't penalize CKC because he's faster than everybody else. Oh man, CKC only scoring because he can run everybody. You don't say. Man, if the other dude was slower, he'll stop him. Really? Are you serious? For real? I never thought about that. I never knew that if the dude was slower, that he actually could stay in front of him. I never thought about that. That's crazy. And that'd be crazy for me to bring it up as an actual argument against a player who's quicker than the other player. I can't help my mama and my daddy procreated somebody who's faster than your mama and your daddy procreated. They can't hold that against me. No more you can hold it against Jameson Johnson that his parents procreated somebody that was 7 foot and your parents didn't procreate nobody that was 7 foot. You can't hold that against that player. You still got to make the shot. Jameson Johnson still got to make the buckets. There's 5 7-footers in SimWorld. If being 7 foot was such an advantage, why all 5 7-footers not averaging 20 and 10 then? I'll wait. Oh, I know why. Because you got to have actual skill to go along with that height. Duh. So people who wants to give height, the fact that he has 7 foot height and as an advantage, stop talking basketball to me. Because you don't know basketball. Stop talking basketball to me. You don't know basketball. I'm 5 foot whatever in real life, 5'9", and I go to the basketball court in 24-hour fitness. And guess where I like to play? In the post. At 5'9". I play against guys at 24-hour fitness all the time. They 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". And guess where I play them? I back them up in the post. On paper, it looks like a mismatch. I'm 5'9", they're 6'2". I'm not supposed to win that battle, but guess who wins? I do. Why? Because I have a skill set that doesn't require me to be taller than you. Mismatch is only a mismatch if you allow it to be a mismatch. Case in point, Baldwin last night, Tony Christopher Fuller, is 4 inches shorter than him. And he's like 10, 15 pounds lighter than him. But he D'd him up. Baldwin did not go off. Baldwin had a hell of a time. He struggled mightily. So stop with the genetic blaming. Stop talking. Well, you can keep genetic blame, but don't talk basketball to me because you're showing your inability to know about the game of basketball. It's about a skill set. Either you got the skills or you don't. Jameson Johnson got the skills, and it's unquestionably he should be, and he is, number 1 in the world. Congratulations to Mid-Atlantic for the championship. You guys have earned it. New England is a hell of a team. I'll take nothing from them. Congratulations to Mid-Atlantic. They can say what they want to say about you guys now. But what they can't say is, you're not a champion. I'm out. Let's go. Blazin takes, Blazin takes. Yeah, I just gotta have my Blazin takes. I know what this is. Blazin takes, Blazin takes. If you get offended, so great. Blazin y'all here because y'all want Blazin takes. And you know I'm gonna get Blazin takes. But enough of all that. Blazin takes, Blazin takes. Blazin takes.